what do we know? We know that f of minus 2 is going to give me 0. But what exactly is f of minus 2? Well, when I substitute minus 2 into the function that they gave me, what you're going to get is 2 minus 2 cubed minus 3 minus squared minus 4 times minus 2 plus a, and this is going to give me 0. Now I could solve for my value of a. Minus 2 cubed, that's minus 8. Minus 8 times 2, minus 16. So you know how to do this, right? Minus 2 squared, that's 4. Minus 3 times 4, that's minus 12. Minus 4 times minus 2, that's plus 8. Plus a is going to give me 0. Minus 28 plus 8. This is my answer, because they wanted me to find the value of a. Value of a is 20. Everybody cool?
Yes, miss.
No, it's one person. What about the others?
Yes, miss.
Okay, 2 people. What about the others? I need to make sure everybody on board. Okay. Remember, answer questions, right? Will benefit you. What's the next week that we do? So this is what we're doing now, right? Paper 2, 22, number 1, part 8. Part 1, okay. This. We'll learn how to do part 2 just now. Right now, we're doing this first part. Tell me when you finish. Resume recording. What I want to point out to you first.
Yeah. Yes, Reese.
What?
What do you said?
I asked if you was finished.
Oh no, I'm still working on it.
Okay, well, let me only finish. And let me just point out something to you real quick. I pointed it out last class. See this word show? Show. Because they told you show that this x plus 4 is a factor of the function f of x. Because they use this word show, this means x plus 4 is, for a fact, it is a factor of f of x. What does that mean? If you get an answer, so we know if it's a factor, the remainder is going to be 0. So if you get a remainder that is not 0, meaning that x plus 4 is not a factor, something is wrong, you need to check it over. How do I know that? Because they told me show. Because they use the word show, I know for a fact that x plus 4 is a factor of f of x. If you got a remainder that's not 0, or you found out that x plus 4 is not a factor, something is wrong, check over. Because it is a fact. It is a factor. Let's go through this one. So what did they tell me? Well, they gave me a divisor, x plus 4, and they want me to show that this divisor is a factor of the function f of x. What is f of x? Well, they told us that f of x is equal to x cubed minus x squared minus 14x plus 24. And they want me to show that x plus 4 is a factor. Well, according to the factor theorem and what we know about factors, the remainder is 0, right? So when I divide a number by a factor of the number, I would get no remainder, or the remainder is 0. Similarly, if this is a factor, when I divide this function, f of x, by x plus 4, if it's a factor, if x plus 4 is a factor of this, my remainder is supposed to be 0. But how are we supposed to show that? Well, we know the 2 steps. The first one, you want to put your divisor equal to 0. Equal to 0. And what does that do for you? Well, it helps you to find the value of x. Then using this value of x, you could substitute it into your function, the given function, and that would help you to find the remainder. So x plus 4. If I put that equal to 0, I will get my value of x is minus 4. So what does that mean? That means that f of minus 4 is the remainder. To prove that this is a factor, that x plus 4 is a factor of this, I need to get that remainder equal to 0. So let's see if the remainder is equal to 0. Remember I showed you, because they use the word show, we know that this x plus 4 is a factor of this, right? So if you get an answer that is not equal to 0, you did something wrong. Check it over. Okay. So if I substitute minus 4 into this, right? So f of minus 4 is going to be equal to, wherever I see x, I replace it with minus 4. So minus 4 cubed minus 4 squared minus 14 by minus 4, and then plus 24. Remember, this is actually going to be a factor because they use the word show. So this is minus 64. Minus 4 squared is 16, and then, so that's minus 16. Minus 14 times minus 4, that's going to give me plus 56. And then plus 56 plus 24. So we're trying to see if this remainder gives me 0. If it's 0, then x plus 4 is in fact a factor of f of x. So does this give me 0? Well, let's see. Minus 64 minus 16, that's minus 80. 56 plus 24, that's 80. So that's minus 80 plus 80, which in fact will give me 0. Therefore, I can say, since f of minus 4 is equal to 0, x plus 4 is in fact a factor of f of x. Everybody good?
Yes, miss.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes, miss.
Okay, nice. Next past paper. 2017, number 1, part B. Let's go. 2017, that's around here. Number 1, part B. So functions isn't on your syllabus anymore, so you're not required to learn it. But you still have it in math, right? It's still in your math syllabus, so that'll be good practice. Yeah. So this is the question, how we doing? They want you, this one is a little different, but I still want you to try it. And then we will go through it. Hold on, let me clear it. This is the one you're doing, right? Yes. So I just want to show you, this one is 4 marks compared to the others, which were 2 marks. That tells you something, right? So, unlike the first one that we did, they just wanted you to find the value of A. They gave you one function, one divisor to find the value of A. This one is different. This one gave you one function, 2 divisors. I want you to find the values of A and B. So just attempt it, and then we will go through it together. This question is different from the ones we did previously. Why? Well, how? They want me to find values of A and B, 2 constants. Before, we only had to find the value of 1. And before, they only gave us 1 divisor. Here, they gave us 2. So how exactly do you go about doing this question? Well, see, the minute I see that they want me to find the values of two constants, not one, right? Two, I know that I am supposed to get two equations and I have to solve them simultaneously to find my values of A and B. Not just for this topic, right? Or yeah, not just for this topic. In any math question, if you see two values that they want you to find, most likely you're going to end up with two equations and you have to solve them simultaneously to find the values of the two constants, right? So just remember that, not just for this topic, not just for this subject, but any math related thing, right? You see, you need to determine two constants, you're going to need two equations, solve them simultaneously. So that's the first thing I would think about when I see that they want me to determine the values of A and B. Because of that, I know I'm going to get two equations and I have to solve them simultaneously. Okay. So this is 2017, number one part B, right? We are given that the function f of x, but the function is f of x, right? F of x is equal to x cubed plus x cubed minus x squared minus ax plus b. That's the function that they gave us. And they also told us that this function, when it's divided by, let me just put a divided sign, right? Let me put building. When f of x is divided by x plus 1, my remainder is equal to 6, right? But then they told me when f of x is divided by x minus 2, so this is what you would do, right? I would write it like this, like all the information that they gave me, I would write it like this because this is how I understand it, right? This function f of x when divided by this divisor, x plus 1, the remainder is 6. But you can write it however you like, right? Whatever makes sense to you. This makes sense to me. It may not necessarily make sense to you. So yeah, you don't have to write it like this. Maybe your way could be you write it like this. I don't know. Everybody's different, right? So this might make sense to you. So you say f of x divided by this is going to give you 6. Whatever makes sense to you, right? Back to the question. F of x divided by x minus 2. They did not tell me exactly what the remainder is, but they did say that x minus 2 is a factor of f of x. We know, based on the factor theorem, that if a divisor is a factor of the function or polynomial, then my remainder is going to be equal to 0. So they didn't have to tell me when f of x is divided by x minus 2, the remainder is 0. No. Just the fact that they told me that x minus 2 is a factor, I would know, okay, when f of x is divided by x minus 2, remainder is going to give me 0. Remember, I told you, whenever finding for two constants, not just for this topic, not just for this subject, for any math-related subject, right? Whenever you have to find two constants, not one, right? Two, most likely you're going to end up with two equations and you need to solve them simultaneously to find the values of each. So how exactly do I get those two equations? Well, f of x divided by x minus 1 is equal to 6. I can also write that as f of minus 1 is going to equal to 6. So whatever f of minus 1 is, so when I substitute minus 1 into this polynomial expression, my answer is 6, right? How did I know that? Well, we know the steps to do that. It's the first step, put the divisor equal to 0, so that's how I end up with minus 1. x plus 1 is equal to 0, so x is equal to minus 1. Then I substitute that x value that I got. So x value is minus 1. Instead of putting x, I put minus 1. Substitute that bit here. If you need me to write it out, please let me know. Okay. It told us function divided by this is going to give me 6. What does that mean? F of minus 1 is equal to 6. If you need me to write all these steps, please let me know. But that's what I was writing out in the blue corner right here the whole time.
Yes, miss.
Write this out.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So it's similar to the remainder theorem, right? It's the same steps you're using, but for factor theorem, the remainder is 0. Remainder theorem, the remainder is not 0. But it's the same steps you're using, right? So the first step, divisor equal to 0. You put the divisor equal to 0, you solve for x. So by doing this, putting the divisor equal to 0, you're going to get a value of x, right? Then using that value of x, what you're going to do is substitute it into the given function or polynomial expression, right? So in this case, my value of x is minus 1. What does that mean? For my second step, wherever I see x in this polynomial expression, instead of putting back x, I'm going to replace it with minus 1. That's what I mean by substituting the x value into the polynomial expression. But they also told us that f of minus 1, so when I substitute minus 1 into this, my answer is supposed to be 6, right? Can I erase the blue part now?
Yes, miss.
Okay. So what is f of minus 1? Well, remember I told you just substitute minus 1 into the expression function. Right. So f of minus 1 is going to be equal to minus 1 cubed minus 1 squared minus a times minus 1 plus b. If I simplify this, minus 1 cubed is minus 1, minus 1 squared is minus 1, so that's minus 1 plus a plus b. So what is this? This is, so let me just rearrange it so it looks, neat. A plus b minus 2. F of minus 1 is equal to a plus b minus 2. But they also told me that f of minus 1 is equal to 6. So what does that mean? A plus b minus 2 is equal to 6. Let me show you how we get our first equation. If I know that f of 1 is this, and this is equal to 6, so a plus b minus 2 is equal to 6. My first equation would be a plus b is equal to 8. That's equation number 1. So that's how I get my first equation. Everybody good?
Yes, miss.
Yes, miss.
If you're not good, let me know. So that's equation number 1. But I told you we need 2 equations. Well, how do we get the second? Well, that's where this comes in. So all this should be running through your head while you're doing this question. Right. F of x divided by x minus 2 is going to give me 0. What does that mean? F of 2 is equal to 0. If you don't understand how I did that, let me know, right? What is f of 2? Well, f of 2, find f of 2. All I need to do is substitute 2 into my function given. So f of 2 would be 2 cubed minus 2 squared minus a times 2 plus b. 2 cubed is 8 minus 4 minus 2a plus b. So just to make this a little neater, I would leave it as, well, plus b But I can also rewrite this as, let me just come over here to write this one. F of 2, we just found out f of 2 is equal to 4 minus 2a plus b. But we also know that f of 2 is equal to 0. So what does that mean for me? 4 minus 2a plus b is equal to 0. If you don't understand how I did that, let me know. From here, I can get my second equation. So you can leave it like that and say that's the second equation. Or, just to tidy it up a little bit. Let's say this is equal to minus 4. You can leave it like that. Or, I don't know, if you're a person who doesn't really like all the minus signs, could write it like this. So this could be a second equation. This could be a second equation. Or if you don't like all the minus signs, this could be a second equation, right? All of them are mathematically equivalent. So it doesn't matter. Everybody good?
Yes, Miss.
Yeah. But why? Well, never mind. Wait, miss. Let me write it down.
Okay. No questions, right? From nobody?
No, Miss.
So I would use this last one, right? Because to me, it just looks neater. So I would use that one. But remember, you could use any one of these two.
Wait, isn't it supposed to be minus 2a?
What, for this one?
Yeah, the last part. But I don't see what I do with the negative. And then you have the plus. I don't understand that part.
Divide everything by -1.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah, I just did that because, some people just don't like working with the negative sign. That's fine. If you want to keep it like this, that's fine too. Just let me know when you finish with this, right?
Miss, I'm finished.
Try this
Wait. Not finished.
series, these little dots, because they are very annoying.
Miss, kind of tired, miss. 'Cause I wake up on Friday, miss. Go school, miss. Kind of tired, miss. Brain tired.
Yeah, that's understandable. You want to tell me when you're done, right?
Yeah, I finished. You can rub out everything. Miss.
Okay, cool. So I'm erasing this whole thing now. Right. Remember, the goal is to find the values of A and B. I told you we have two equations. You have to solve them simultaneously to find the values of A and B. My first equation, I got A plus B is equal to 8, and then the second one was 2A minus B is equal to 4. Remember that little what I told you about the two constants when determining two of them simultaneous equation? That does not just apply for this topic, but this subject, anything to do with maths, and you have to determine two constants, there is a possibility that you have to find two equations and solve them simultaneously. So just remember that, right? That might help you in your maths exam. That might help you in another topic in our maths. So always remember that. Okay. So how do I solve this simultaneously? Well, hopefully you remember how to, solve equations simultaneously. If you don't, let me know, right? But right now I'm assuming that you remember. So I can take this first equation and say, okay, A is equal to 8 minus B. Then using this, substitute it into the other equation. So this becomes 2 by 8 minus b is equal to 4. If I expand these brackets, 16 minus 2b minus b, that's, we know, yes, it's minus 3b is equal to 4. Minus 3b would be equal to minus 12, and then b would be equal to 4. That's my value for. Wait, what?
Yes, Miss, that's what I got.
Nice. Anybody does not understand how I got 4? And remember to write out all your steps, eh? Okay, let me do that before you're going to go into the exam and start skipping steps and things. Don't do that, right? Write out everything. You never know where they are allocating those marks. So I say do everything. So that's equal to minus 12, and then you could say b equal to 4. Okay, so everybody good? But how I got
Yes, Miss.
that's one person. What about the others? The meeting is gonna end. So rejoin. Okay. Let me end it.
Yeah, I understand.